the only thing we haven't talked about yet is the new mirror waves that got added. Because if you were already bored of these guys, well, now they added these guys, which are a little bit harder. Um, just so you don't have to go out and buy all new graphics and things like that, the wave spawn pattern of the 40s, of the new ones, the new MU hostiles, the pattern is the same as the 50s over here. The hostiles are slightly different. You've got Voyager hostiles 8472s are in here. You've got, excuse me, feeling a little reflux. You've got Monavine hostiles that get pretty beefy in here. So there's definitely some upgrade here. Also worth noting, these hostiles do have a higher impulse speed. They move faster. So if you're used to, oh yeah, I can cover a whole side by myself and just take them all out, they move faster. So you might be chasing them down a little bit if you don't have like an impulse, high impulse ship or impulse crew. One or two of them might sneak by you. Also worth noting that the mining ships are not 300 HP. They are about 4 million HP. So, you know, your level 31 buddy who's just coming in with his, you know, baby little hostile here, this is not for you. This content is not for you. So they gave everybody 5 in the event store, the code they gave out on the website. If you didn't use the code yet, you would go to the web store. It is Alter Ego is the code for people level 40 plus. I don't know where they actually published it, right? It wasn't in the announcement. Everybody found out the code through word of mouth, but I don't remember seeing where it was actually published. If you're below level 40, the code in the web store is resistance? No, that's not right. Barkman says it's in the patch notes. It wasn't in the patch notes. Maybe they added it to the patch notes, but it was not there. When the notes were released. So unless they corrected it and realized, hey, whoops, we forgot to tell people where the codes were. I'm going to look and see. So it's down here at the bottom, promo codes. There we go. Reflection is the one if you're ops 10 to 39. This is what you get. Alter Ego is the one if you're higher, if you're level 40 and above. Okay, so it looks like those codes were not in the patch notes when they were released. They waited until after after the ARC actually launched and the codes were live, and then went back and updated the website and put them in afterwards. Is what I'm hearing people say. Okay, so they retroactively went back and filled it in. But there you go. Depending on what ops level you are, that would be the codes. And if you're 40 plus, you got 750 of the new ciphers, which is enough for 5 runs, because unlike these guys that cost 100 to get in and defend, these guys cost 150. The hostiles hit harder, a little harder to chase down. If you want to get additional runs, you have to go through the Section 31 store, and you can buy additional Section 31 ciphers right here. It will cost you 1,500 of the old credits in order to get, I think it's 500 of the new ones. So that's a pretty steep price, because that's basically what, 3 extra runs you're getting. So you have to get to, I think this is like wave 6 or wave 7 of an old one to be able to buy enough to do this. It's only 150. That's pretty crazy, if that's the case. Yeah. So they're pretty rough. Additionally, when you win, you get new Section 31 mirror credits, which can be used to purchase additional new forbidden texts that are getting added. We have the new Agony booth, and there's another new one. Also, if you get the new ship refits, which we haven't talked about yet, you can get this welding hardware, which is the currency that you'll use so you can repair your ship while it's out, in space fighting stuff instead of having to bring it all the way back to your base and repair it. But again, that's going to require additional items, additional skins, and it's only for these field repair things, which you can also source right here, which are only for the 42 and 53 uncommon ships, as well as the 60 rares and 63 uncommons. So it's the 3 sets of G4, G5, G6 uncommons, as well as the G5 epics. So if you're using a G4 or a G5 rare to do all your heavy lifting, we got nothing for you. Maybe next month. So, also in here, you can get reputation with your new mirror credits. You've got reputation bundles, which are going to be based on whatever you're at here. So I'm at Legend, locked at 15 billion. If I wanted more Romulan rep, I could get 148 million more. I'm still working on Klingon. There'd be a quick 100 million for me. And my Fed rep, which is locked at Champion, I could buy an extra 14 million. Klingon here, I'm just over 10 billion points, so I still have a little bit to go. Obviously this could be helpful to try and speed that along. There is also a Syndicate bundle here, so again, another way, free to play, in-game, to source even more Syndicate XP through these claims. You already had this one down here for using your old credits at 2,200. Now up here for 1,200, you can get 7,500 more Syndicate XP. So again, whatever that Syndicate event's going to be, those milestones are going up because they just added yet another sourcing mechanism for it. And this definitely solidifies the fact that they're going to be expanding that Syndicate tree pretty darn soon. So you've got the refits. Once you do this field repair thing here, you use the field repair active ability out of combat to instantly repair 25% of your ship's hull while undocked. And to do that trigger, you will spend these welding hardware currencies to do it. I haven't done it yet. I don't have any of the things on it unlocked. You need 120 shards to do that, and it will cost you 600 a piece. So if you're going to claim these daily, we'll see in 4 months. If you want to do double chests, we'll see in 2 months, but it's going to cost you, extra to speed it along to get this field repair thing going. There might be bundles in the store. I haven't looked yet, but and then again, you're getting yourself 25% of your hull back. So if you're somewhere far, or if you're in the MU and like you normally, you go out there and you kill stuff, and normally you're like, oh, I've got 5 minutes left, but I don't have any hull health left. I guess I'll just sit here and wait it out. Like, I'm sure that's what this is intended for you to just be able to, like, no, I can just pop this ability and I'll get 25% of my hull back, and I can keep grinding for that extra 5 minutes and get even more loot, so I have to make fewer trips. Or if you're out in, G5 or G6, way out in deep space out there, killing stuff, and you've got these 7-minute or 10-minute flight timers, and you don't want to have to come all the way back to base just to go back and make a second trip, you'd be able to pop one of these things. The problem is that these things are really expensive to acquire. They're going to take a long time to do it. We're talking about 4 months at single pulling these. They're only useful for one ship, so if you're still using this ship in 4 months, maybe it would be helpful. But if you're sitting here, if you're on a rare right now, you're waiting to get your epic. That's not even available for me to buy yet, so I can't even start preloading, for my Daenerys or whatever that I might end up getting, or an Enterprise D or whatever the case is that I end up with when I get to 60. And I'm not using my 53 uncommon anymore or my 42 uncommon anymore. So I'm not going to go back and backfill starting on that. So this feels like a miss. This really feels like a miss. Because especially a lot of players, over the course of, if you're using a 42 uncommon right now, there's a pretty decent chance that 4 months from now, you're probably going to be close to 46 and ready to upgrade to a rare. So would you want to spend all of this mirror currency day after day after day, every day for 4 months to be able to get 25% extra hull back on your Val door when that's not even going to be the ship you're most likely using anymore because you're going to have your Pilum or Coronar or whatever you're going with instead, when you could rather be spending those mirror tokens getting Syndicate XP? Because this is 600 right here. So instead of claiming this every day, I claim a Syndicate bundle every other day. And over the course of that 4 months, I claim 60 bundles at 7,500. Which would you rather have? The ability to field repair your Val door or 450,000 extra Syndicate XP? I feel like you'd rather have the Syndicate XP. And chat is agreeing with me for those of you watching this later. Syndicate XP, easy, no contest. Yeah, it costs way too much. And if you're going to double pull it, oh god. Now you're getting 100. Now you're spending 120,000 of this mirror currency, which would get you 100 bundles out of here, which would get you 750,000 mirror XP over the course of the next 3 months. So, yeah. What's up, Domo? Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. So this to me again feels like a miss. This feels to me a lot like these felt to me. These auto defense things, right? Because by the time you could start sourcing them for your G3 mining ships and things like that, you're like, but by the time I'm going to get them, I'm not going to be using that mining ship anymore. Or if I do, the protected cargo on it's going to be so high, I don't care if somebody comes by. Nobody's going to come by and kill me. Because I'm going to have so much more research and things that I'm going to acquire over the next 4 months trying to unlock this. Like, I didn't buy any of these. Did you guys buy any of these? I mean, I saw a few people when they came out might have gotten some of them, but did anybody source these free to play over the course of 4+ months and spend all of these credits and currencies? I'm sure some people did. I think the number's probably pretty low. And I think this is probably the same thing. I think the number of people who are going to spend 4 months acquiring one of these things, the other way it makes sense is if you're in the 50s, right? Because the 42s you're going to outgrow and you'll be at 46 within 4 months. If you just got to 53, it could take you more than 4 months to go from 53 to 56 and get everything you need to get to the shipyard 56 and build the rare. So I could potentially see you doing the 53 out of this. And then I can see people doing the G5 epics because people are using those well into G6 space. They're skipping a lot of people are skipping the G6, the 63s, and they're just using the epic until they get to the 66. So I can see the G5 epic one being useful. It would be nice if you could preload it so I could have it by the time I get there. I've already got it unlocked. I would start now. It might make a little more sense. If I have to wait till I get to 60 and then wait 4 months to unlock it, well, it's less enticing. So the timing and expense on this feels like a miss to me. So those are so bad. Chris accidentally bought some shards. Okay. Ace sourced the one for the Vortivore, but just never actually used it. There you go. Okay. Auto defense is even worse. Yeah. Stop with the logic. I'm ruining it for them. Well, I tried, you know. I mean, again, if they wanted to ask me any of this stuff ahead of time, I would have told them this, and I could have saved them months of programming. But, eh, let them waste their own time. And this will just be more stuff sitting here that nobody buys. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, the new waves are harder. I haven't done one yet on this account. I did. Let me switch over here. I did a couple earlier on my level 46 free to play account. So let me load that up real fast. Domo, you just joined. Not sure if I covered it. What is going to be the source for mirror ciphers for waves? Doing other waves, doing the old waves, and turning in credits. So, additionally, I believe these missions here, like these are one-shot deals. You'll also get a couple extra out of these. We can go look those missions up and see if they're actually. So yeah, dossier 3 associated risks. You meet with Sloan. You do some something. He does give you 300 extra mirror ciphers. That'll get you 2 more runs. And the same thing I think is the same for dossier 4. You meet with him, you do this little thing here, you give him donate 1,000,000,000 par steel. Okay. And then you get hey, you get an ultra recruit tokens, and then you get 2 more section 31 ciphers as well. So if you are stuck, they're probably going to run this MU event multiple times throughout the month, right? If not every day. You can get a couple extra runs here by claiming and doing these missions. That'll give you 4 more trips. But after that, your regular sourcing is going to be from trading down and buying tokens here. You're gonna have to do old waves to get the old Section 31 credits, to then use those to buy a bundle here with the new mirror credits. And I think it's 1,500 for this bundle, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 1,500. If I run any tonight and I drop below the threshold, we can take a look at it. But I feel like it's 1,500. Robotsky says it's got a 3-day cooldown. So yeah, and 1,500 of the regular Section 31 credits. I want to say that's at least like Wave 6 or Wave 7 that you'd have to get to. I want to say Wave 7, I think is what you'd have to get to in order to get that many credits. So if you're somebody in your high 30s or lower 40s, that could be a bit more of a challenge for you. All right, but let's go over to my free-to-play account real quick here, because I did do some waves earlier. And the hostels start out bigger because, again, they're based off the higher level one. So the first wave of ships that come out are 38s. And they are 35 million. And they have special abilities. The enemy player is hull breached, gets a boost to weapon damage. The enemy player is hull breached, boost isolytic damage. And at the start, a combat start, hull breach enemy players. So it's just an active ability. So it just automatically gives you hull breach on your own ship, and then gets a 20% boost to weapon damage and a 10% boost to its isolytic damage. So when you go look at your battle log here, you're going to see it's getting a little bit of a boost and it's getting some isolytic. Now again, it is what it is, right? It's a lower power ship, so we're starting off with that. But these things do ramp up pretty quickly, because by wave 2, you're already dealing with 40s and 42s. And the 42s, we're already up to 125 million power. Now again, they're not hitting, they're hitting harder. They're definitely hitting harder. But luckily you've got some of these other things working to mitigate some of that. And then we sneak up to the same, has a 43 in it. That's also now up to 195 million power. Certainly taking a bit more damage here. These are your Fed Klingon Romulan ship types. There are also a lot of the specialty ship types in here as well. And again, we're looking at some of the damage numbers that they're throwing off here right off the bat. So certainly not for players in their 30s and low 40s, which is kind of why it is where it is. Then you get to your specialty ships, and now we're talking about nearly 800 million power on a level 43 Texas class hostile. Now this particular one had already been damaged by somebody who blew up, and I was like, well, let me go quick try and snag it real fast while I can. But they're doing pretty considerable chunks of damage here. 5 million straight up. No specialty abilities on this particular one. And these are the mining ships, right? Your little cheesy little miners that used to be 300 hit points, 309 I think was their HP, or their strength. They're now over 4 million. And they're doing the same hull breach mechanic. And what are these guys hitting for? Well, they still hit for crap because they're miners. But yeah, you're probably not necessarily chasing them down with a Rialta or a Franklin or whatever. I mean, maybe you could, depending on where your Franklin's at, but... So these are just the first... I think I only made it to like wave 3 or wave 4 with the groups I was in, the pickup groups that we were running. But that's just a quick, brief little look at where this is on my Ops 46 free-to-play account. Let's see if we can't get into one over here. Let me switch crews. Yeah, not using your lightning fast Botany Bay with speed crew. Probably not going to work out so well for you. What do we want? We want Janeway. We want the Doctor. We want Data. And then we've got those people on that ship. Yeah. Captain Palmer confirmed earlier it is 1,500. Okay. For the turn-in. Yeah, 1,500 tokens to get more mirror cipher credits. So again, this is really going to be time gated and restricted based on the cooldowns and things like that that you can do. If it's a 3-day cooldown, that's going to make it even more difficult to get some of this stuff, which will then keep you from running amok claiming these bundles. Also, should be worth noting that these bundles do have reputation restrictions on them as well. My free-to-play account here has not hit agent yet because I never claim rep bundles. Oh, there you go, right there. 1,500 is what it would cost me. It doesn't tell you how many you get, though, does it? Am I getting 500? Because it doesn't tell me exactly how many I'm getting here. I don't think I'm getting 500. I think I'm getting like 150. Yeah, you get 150. It should tell you that here. It doesn't. It should tell you what you're buying. But we come down here and you see some of this stuff, like the Syndicate XP is locked until you get to Agent. And some of this other forbidden tech and things like that. These are locked until you get to Handler, being able to claim the ship refits. So if you've been neglecting your rep because you don't run, these things that often, and all you've really been concerned with is just getting your Dolomite, well, to get some of the new stuff, you're going to have to go back now, and you're going to have to work on your reputation to try and move this along. And at, what's it, 625, 500, and then eventually 625 is at the next level per day. It's going to take you several months to work your way up. So good thing they cut down on some of those other loops for us, right? Made that Mantis and Stella and Voyager loops a little shorter and less time consuming, because you're going to need to spend more time doing wave defenses now if you want to participate in any of these new refineries. So just things to be mindful of. That's all we're trying to point out there. 10 to 1 exchange rate. Yes, that 10 to 1 exchange rate. Oof. Hopefully that'll get better in the future, and it's just one of those, well, it's brand new, so we didn't want people to just stock up on them and go run amok through buying everything. We don't want you to be able to make a whole bunch of double pulls on those, ship repair things. So we want you to have it be a slow and annoying and painful grind that takes you 4+ months of agonizing events and hurdles and things like that. So you get frustrated and go to the store and just buy them instead. Sounds like a brilliant plan, brilliant strategy. Let's go with it. Let's roll it out. See how it goes. So that's what we got here. We'll work on that stuff later. Now, just in case you're curious, are there packs they're selling? What are we selling here? New, limited time. There's your battle pass stuff. There's your building upgrade thing. There's your event store currency thing. And you can buy your emergency field repairs, right? You can only buy them for ships you have from here. So your 42 uncommons are worth $50 a piece. Your 53 uncommons are $100. Does it give you enough? Okay, so it is just a one-shot deal. At least there's that. You don't have to buy multiple packs. Maybe for the epics you do. I don't know if any of you higher level players can tell me what a level 60 one costs, because I'm guessing it's more than one pack for a 60 epic. You can also buy additional mirror starts. Spend $20, get 360, which is a weird number again, because it costs 300. It costs 150 per run. So why would you give us 60 of something? Stop with the odd numbers. Then we just end up with extra random bits of currency. Oh, I'm 40 short, but I can only get 150 a day. Just stop with the odd numbers. And then here's all this other stuff. That's also for sale. And then we've got some limited time stuff still going on. But, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Chris is wondering what the Wave Defense Battle Pass will look like. That's a good question. Robotsky doesn't see really anything you want from the new waves. I mean, there's an extra syndicate bundle. That's about it for a lot of people. We do have, eventually, if your rep gets high enough, you can source the Agony booth from here. This is a forbidden tech that gives you an apex barrier against non-armada hostiles. So you get more apex barrier for your hostile grinding, you get more FKR reputation gains, and then you get more hull health and damage. This is the new PvE forbidden tech. It is an epic, so it's going to be expensive to upgrade. But it is sourceable free to play. The other forbidden tech that they added to the game, I think, is currently pay only. I don't know if it'll have a free to play path added to it yet. Captain Palmer says if you can do all 10 waves in the mirror one, so if you finish a mirror wave, you get 5,300 mirror credits and 800 Trellium D. So that is another benefit too of doing them, is that you get both the credits for the turn-ins here as well as the liquid Trellium D, which you can then use in the Mirror Universe store to source some of this other stuff here to upgrade your building, upgrade these techs, get whatever else you want out of here, more dust for research, etc. So it serves a dual purpose, I guess, in terms of helping you get stuff out of here, or using that liquid. If you get 800 liquid Trellium D, that's almost enough to do all 3 of these pulls, if you were so inclined. Between the 800 you get from finishing one of them, plus the 100 you get for free every day, that would do it. It's not exactly a reasonable thing to try and accomplish on a daily basis, but I'm just saying that that's what the mathematics work out to be what it looks like on paper. So yeah, it'll definitely take a while to unlock the techs doing stuff like that. So let's try and jump into a wave, see if these people will let me join their random group. It is, I guess I have to take Voyager. Ugh. So the event that's run, is this a pickup group, or is this like a, yeah, now this is a guild thing. I'll just leave. The event that's going on right here, right now, today. So we have a mirror universe wave defense going on. Defeat hostiles. You have to do it using explorers or interceptors, though. You get 50 points per kill. So you need 30 kills. So killing anything within a battleship would not count for this particular event. It would still count for this particular one, which is just to get kills. Just kill things, get 60 points. This is an SLB. That's a 3-day event. You also get points by spending the new credits. But if you want to, try to get this done as quickly as possible, you have to take an interceptor and an explorer as your 2 ships. And there's going to be a lot of people bringing Voyagers in there. Now, granted, it's still a decent explorer for the first wave or 2 when you're just hitting interceptors. Like, it'll still do decent enough damage to get through those first 2 or 3 waves. But by like wave 4 and wave 5, obviously you're going to be lagging a little bit. There are some 8472 hostiles that you can kill, but that's going to be just about it. So all right, let's see if were these guys doing one already. Yeah, they got one going. Oh, they're there. So then it's like, well, what would you rather have, Voyager or a Valdor? Ugh. I guess I'll take the Valdor. Bringing up Franklin. Are there, it's been so long since I looked at the chart. I don't know what hostiles there are in. Ah, new graphics just came out. Thank you, Nevin. I was just going to look for that. To see if we have new graphics. So we do. So the Terran Empire ones replace your FKR hostiles. Your Axion hostiles get replaced by Texas class hostiles. Your Borg get replaced by Hirogen. And your Swarm get replaced by the 8472 bioships. So no point in bringing a Talios, no point in bringing a Franklin, because there aren't really any hostiles designed for them to kill. Now, obviously, if your Talios is your best interceptor, you do with what you got to do. Stay focused on the battleships and see how many points you can get there. But in terms of this other stuff you've got going on, you've got 2 different hostile types that Voyager is preferable against, and only one for the Monavine would be helpful for. And then it's just, FKR slamming into stuff. But the number of hostiles also spawning and some of these early waves isn't the highest. So if you are, again, trying to just get this, if you need 30 kills, you're going to have to either make multiple trips or successfully live to get through wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, probably into wave 4 or wave 5 if you want to finish the event in one shot. So Talios is good for traders. Talios is good for traders, and the Talios is a faster ship for chasing stuff down, relatively speaking. So there's definitely some stuff to work on there. So I would just leave that one up there for a second for you. In case you want to do a screen grab. If you, I'm sure this is also posted in a variety of other places on other Discords as well. So, yeah, mirror wave hostiles did get faster, Lexel. Yep, yep, they did. Carla's wondering what the lower than Ops 40 code is. Resistance, resilience, something like that. It's in the patch notes. They did update that and put it in the actual patch note. Reflection. I think it was something with an R. There you go. Mirror reflection. There you go. That makes more sense. Well, let's see if we can't jump into one of these. And see what happens here. Try and get some of this stuff done. All right. So we kind of went through a lot tonight. And I'm sure we probably missed stuff. But is there anything that we covered or didn't cover that you guys still have questions about with this particular arc that we can try and talk about while we have a couple minutes left here in the show tonight? Lloyd's wondering how the guest stream was. That was fun last night. It took a little while. Cap Jesse was kind of pulling his hair out for the first 20 minutes or so because he couldn't get the audio quite right. But we had some fun hanging out and chatting for a bit. Um, People think I'm crazy for this, but I know that there was a period of time where they were putting the patch notes out at midnight at event daily reset. And they seem to have switched back. So now they went back to putting the patch notes back out at server maintenance, which for me is 4 a.m. So I wasn't staying up that late to wait for the new arc details to be revealed to talk about stuff. So I kind of got to hang out with Dr. Iron Chef and Jesse and Scribbler and Moopsy and have a little chat for a bit for a couple hours. Oh, you need to go up here. For about an hour, hour and a half. Um, just about what we liked about the first arc and other fun stuff and some stuff not even STFC related for a bit, which was good. It was good getting to know them all a little bit better and look forward to doing it again. But it would have been better if we had, at midnight, if the patch notes had come out and we were like, okay, here's what we're going to have to look forward to today. And we could have started to talk about that kind of stuff. If they powered through and stayed up 4 more hours after that until they were actually released, good for them. I have to, maybe I'll go back and look for it. But there's no way I could do that with having to get up at 8 a.m. and go to work. So Yeah, there's something weird with the audio too. I was a little lower than everybody else, which I guess isn't surprising because typically it's the complaint I get is that my audio is low, even though my volume's all the way up on the headset and everything like that. Oh, Carissa pointing out another thing that I forget, that I did forget to mention, that this one that was in the patch notes, the Mirror Universe exchange here for the Rift keys, they changed this midday. They didn't reset the timer on it, but they did change this midday. So this costs less now to do this bundle. Thank you for pointing that out. This does cost a little less. So that was a quiet little change. Lightning Hawk wondering what ships should you take into the new waves, your Ops 43? You know, the best you got. Take the best you can. These things, they move. See how much faster they move already? Like, I'm barely fighting the second one and they're already, advancing. Now I gotta go chase one of these other guys down. And that's going to be the thing too. If you're trying to just do the SMS, you need to bring interceptors and explorers, so you get the points for the kills. But it's going to be rough because these guys do jump up in power pretty quickly. It's definitely designed more for, you know, it's based off of the 50 plus wave. They did scale the power down a little bit, so it's more like 46 plus content, but it's certainly still doable if you're in your 40s. It's just not necessarily ideal. And unlike some other areas where maybe you might have just like, oh, I'll just pick a corner and just stay there for the first like 5 or 6 waves, you might be more inclined to have to rotate. Like these are Species 8472 hostiles. I'm not going to go hit them with my Valdor. They'll kill me. So now I'm going to have to go this way and take on some of these guys. And I don't really want to go hit Texas class hostiles. With my Sanctus. That's not going to go so well. So you kind of have to rotate and move a little bit. Unless you've got really strong, really high-tiered ships. If I had 500 to 600 million, yeah, I could probably take out more of these things. But with what I'm working with here, we're a little more limited. Now what do we got here? That's an 8472 hostile. Probably pretty big. What do we got here now? Those are Herodians. Those are big. We're going to have to go up here and try to hit them, I guess. And then you can clean up on these guys, so. Yeah, he's going to be dead soon. The Valdor did good enough to get me, a handful of points here, but it's not gonna make it much further in this particular fight here. Especially if I'm going against the triangle. I think these are faction hostiles, right? Yeah, those are factions, so we can go hit them. There's the transports. Your Crozier and Sanctus and had no trouble. I'm gonna guess yours might be a little bit higher tiered than mine, and you certainly have, having two G5 rares probably gonna work out a little better for you. The Sanctus so far is doing fine here, but what do we got there? We got some faction. There you go. Go hit one of them. Let's see what the hell happens. Better than standing around with your thumb up your butt. All right. We just barely lived a little bit longer. But hey, we made it to wave 6. And that looks like... What do we got there? Those are just faction hostiles. Well, they're faster than me, so they're going to go after the lead ship. I think we got the whole thing done already. Awesome. Yay, we did it. So we managed to get it done in one, thankfully. The perks of having, some big beefy 65s and 59s and stuff in your group. That's a big jump. That's definitely a big jump in power. These 48s go up to almost 700 million. Now, granted, power's not everything. Oh, you got that one. %25 hull repair would be helpful on waves. It could be. It could be. It would depend on, again, how you're doing and how your group is doing and stuff, and whether or not you needed those additional stats and stuff. But it does have the potential to be useful for that. I don't know if that's where you want to waste like your one and only. target spend. What we got? We got some things over here. Let's go try and grab at least one of those. I look like I need it on the Valdor. Eh. That one makes me nervous. I don't necessarily want to smack into a 2 billion. I mean, I kind of do because I kind of want to see what happens if I do, but at the same time, kind of don't want to just get blown up. But I guess we're going to find out. Because everything just got big. We made it to wave 9, so if I die, I die. At least we go down swinging. All right. They are not as big as they look. Because that did very little damage. That did very little damage. And we can look at the battle logs after. Remember, power level is irrelevant. This is very true. It's a very good lesson. Without having time to actually stop and scan these hostiles to see how big they really are, you're kind of just looking at the sticker shock and saying, oh, here's what's going on. Here's what I can work with. You go get him. 2.6 billion. Seems like a lot, but it could be like a freebooter, right? Where it just doesn't hit very hard, or it's just all hull health. That one took a little bit of damage off me. Okay. But you don't know these things until you can actually stop and look at it and be like, oh, that's just a big, what we used to call the Eclipse hostiles. Like, oh, they're big flying toasters. Because they didn't hit really hard for anything, so it wasn't a big deal. But once we can actually look at some battle logs and see, okay, yeah, these things really aren't hitting that hard. Probably feel a little more comfortable, in wave number 2. Heck, let's even go for the 52. It's the final round. No guts, no glory. Did we get it? Oh, he got it first. So there you go. We finished it. Woohoo! Yay! Good job, guys. I was just trying to get the SMS done. So we got 5,300 credits, 800 liquid Trellium D. Awesome. And what to spend these materials on? Well, let's look at some battle logs first, right? Let's look at some of these bigger, this big 51. 2 billion looks like a real big beefy thing. And again, you've got the hostile doing the hull breach, getting the extra isolytic damage bonus. But when you actually go look at the numbers here, the first shot's hitting for 9 million, we'll call it. And between standard mitigation, even again, I'm going, well, this is a neutral. So standard mitigation, we're getting almost half. And then we're getting isolytic and barrier damage, and then the rest is going to shields because of Janeway and whatnot. So we're not taking a whole lot of hull health per shot, even on things that are pretty big. And when we actually have, the advantage, we're going against like some of these like bigger warships and things. We're not taking very much damage at all. because now we're mitigating even higher, and again, mitigate some of the isolytic, a little bit of apex barrier, because I still have to work on that research and stuff too, and then more of it just going into the shields, and very little making it through to the actual hull. Started off with, 5.5 million points of damage that it did. Only 450k made it through to the actual hull though. And thankfully I've got 400 million hull health, so plenty of time to absorb some shots there. So I still feel very confident. I feel a lot more confident now, should I say, with the G5 Rare Plus group being able to handle this stuff pretty easily. The specialty ships may not be as big or as beefy either. Obviously, their numbers and values always do make you a little more nervous because they have specialty bonuses and things. If you're fighting the Hirogen or the Texas class hostiles and those kinds of things, maybe leave them for more for the specialty ships. But again, if you're just big enough and doing enough damage, you're probably going to be okay there too. So very much like the MU hostiles, they hit harder than freebooters. They just have massive hull. That's kind of what it looks like. Yep, that's kind of what it looks like. Lloydson says the high 50s in your alliance, say the 56 rare ships, kill everything you need to kill in the new waves. It's kind of what it seemed like. PJ said his Sanctus handled the 3 billion just fine. So looks like overall, I think we learned some valuable lessons here, and we're in pretty good shape. So